Welcome to The Item. My name's Glenn Knight and I'm CEO of Training to Care, one of the largest training providers in the country. Indeed, many of you will know me from the virtual dementia tour, autism reality experience and the brand new dementia interpreters course. But today we're here to talk about a fantastic item. Many of you will have had issues with hydration within your care settings, and the support that is needed for those people is incredible. But have you got the right items to be able to support them and encourage fluid intake? Well, today I'm absolutely proud to be sitting with Lewis, who's the founder, and not only the founder, but also the inventor of Jelly Drops. We're going to talk about Jelly Drops and how you can order these through the item, but we're also going to tell you the story of Jelly Drops, because the best items have the best backgrounds. So I'm really, really proud to introduce you to Lewis. So Lewis, welcome to the item. We have an array of Jelly Drops here, and the selection in the middle, there's 6. What flavours have you brought with you today?
Yeah, so there's berry and citrus flavours. There's raspberry, blackcurrant and strawberry, and lemon, lime and orange. And the different colours and flavours help, catch the eye and help with the interaction as well.
And they are very bright as well. They look, when you first look at them, you actually think they're like a crust on the outside with a juice in the middle, but they're not, are they?
No, they're solid all the way through, so they can be bitten but easy to chew. And the idea is there's not like an unexpected release of fluid in the mouth. Fantastic.
So what we're going to do today is, I think that the viewers really need to find out a little bit about the history of Jelly Drops. They are so impressive. And the story behind it is quite inspirational. So in a moment, we're going to show some videos of your grandmother, and I know it's your grandmother that inspired Jelly Drops. And would it be okay with you that you tell us that story, because I think everyone wants to know about it?
Sure. I developed Jelly Drops a few years ago from my late grandma Pat. She had dementia for about 7 years, but really started to struggle with hydration and was actually hospitalised with it. And thankfully, after 24 hours in IV fluid, she made a full recovery, but it's really highlighted to me how much of an effect hydration can have on people with dementia. I really wanted to help, so I started to consult with dementia psychologists to understand why people with dementia don't drink, and it turned out there was loads of reasons. Many may no longer feel thirst, or may not equate drinking with quenching thirst. They may not recognise cups or have the dexterity to use them. So to understand this better, I went and moved into my grandma's care home for a month. Here I observed, a lot of this behaviour, and just the fluid nature of drinks means they're often easily spilt. But by far the biggest problem I found was many of the residents would refuse help to drink, and with all the will in the world, it can be very difficult to help and support someone to drink when they don't really want to. So I started looking at eating habits and found perhaps finger foods were much easier, and especially sweets. So generally I would go around the care home and most people would ignore me, which is fair enough, but if I had a box of chocolates, then everyone's your best friend and they're taking a handful. So that's what gave me the idea to create a solid form of hydration in the format of a treat, and this is in part helped by the fact many with dementia develop quite a sweet tooth. So this was the first prototype of Jelly Drops, and it was really great to see Grandma recognise it immediately and go and grab a few. Actually, in this 10-minute period, Grandma ate 7 drops, and for me to get her to drink the equivalent would take hours of me sitting with her. So it was really fantastic to see her engage with it so readily and independently, and that's where it all started really.
So Lewis, every great item has a great story, and that was absolutely phenomenal, and I want to congratulate you for producing such an amazing item. Now, this life-changing solution to someone who's got hydration issues, who's it ideally for? Is it just dementia, or tell us more?
Yeah, well, we really wanted the product to have a broad appeal. They're not dementia sweets, they're just sweets that anyone can enjoy. They just happen to be designed for people with dementia in mind, and we often get people reaching out from all different backgrounds: autism, people with Parkinson's, people going through chemotherapy perhaps, and really anyone that could do with a boost of hydration can use the product.
Fantastic. So diabetics, it's a big issue in this country, as we all know. It's becoming more prolific. Are these ideal for diabetics?
Yeah, so from a dietary point of view, we've tried to make it as inclusive as possible. So they're sugar-free, which also helps with the oral hygiene side of things, but they're vegan and gluten-free as well. So people with various dietary requirements can still enjoy them.
But there's no sugar. I know that you've substituted that with something else, and I know with sweeteners and things like that, it can have a laxative effect. Is that the case with these?
No, so the sweetener we use, often the sweeteners get paired with a bulking agent, and in jelly drops, that's water. Right. So that allows us to achieve such a high water content of 95%, but it also means it doesn't have that laxative effect.
That sounds amazing. So Lewis, they come in packs, and these packs look colourful, they look bright, they're very, I want to eat them. I'm looking forward to the taste test. However, would these be ideal for individuals, or would this be recommended for groups of people?
I think the trays are typically used by just individuals for infection control and things like that. It is possible to decant them out of the trays and spread them that way. But at the moment, we recommend just a tray per person. And
I noticed that the trays have this. It's like a plastic, so it can be wiped down quite easily if it was there for multiple days.
Yeah, and the plastic and the cardboard is all recyclable as well, and it's designed to come apart very easily, so it can be effectively recycled. But yeah, the plastic element helps it with that wipe down.
Brilliant. So Lewis, I love these trays. Great portion to have throughout the day. Perfect for people with dementia, autism, residential home, nursing home, care home, or even a hospital setting. But actually what's caught my eyes are these little pots. Now, I'm going to choose the orange pot, mainly because it's my favourite colour. I've not seen these before. There's 4 jelly drops in them. Can you tell me about the pots, please?
Sure. So where the trays may be great for the whole day and they contain 300 ml, these pots are designed to be on the go or to have as a snack, and each of them contain 50 ml. At the moment it's got 4 of the tray size drops in, but actually when we launch these later this year they'll have 5 slightly smaller drops just to make them a bit more manageable.
Wow, so these are really portable, so these could go into a handbag, these could go in a car, you could have them on a journey or even a picnic. I'm going to try one because they're just making my mouth water. So I'm going to pick one up and I'm just going to take a bite of that. Wow. The flavour is absolutely powerful. It's making my mouth water. It's really interesting. So these are jelly drops. Tell me about the texture of these then, please.
Yeah, so we've tried to design the texture to be as jelly-like as possible, so to have such a high water content and the electrolytes, but still be quite familiar for people. And like I said, the flavours are quite strong, and that's to really help people that perhaps have a dull palate, but also the sort of aroma from them and all the other sensory aspects of it really help with that sort of engagement.
And I totally agree with that. What's really interesting when I took a bite into that, as I said earlier, when you look at them, you think you're going to get that burst of water or fluids more. And with this, you don't. It is that texture of jelly that you just mentioned. Why was it again that it's jelly rather than a fluid inside?
Yeah, so we didn't want the drops to pop when you bit them, so it would maybe go down your front, but also have an unexpected release of fluid in the mouth, and that could potentially be a surprise for some people. So this is it's easy to chew, but doesn't have that shock basically.
So one other thing that I noticed with this, for someone with dentures, this would be an ideal sweet, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so we tried to make it relatively soft, so it's easy for people to eat it, but still firm enough to be able to pick it up for people with limited dexterity.
Okay, and you're obviously with that in mind, have dentists used these? What have dentists said about these? Because obviously oral hygiene is so important at the moment.
Yeah, well my mum was actually a dentist, so when I was developing them to start with, she was quite keen on them not having sugar in. I think it's quite a common issue, oral hygiene, especially people with dementia can't perhaps tell you if their teeth are hurting, so we didn't want to create another problem by having too much sugar in, well, any sugar in. So that's why they're sugar free.
Fantastic. So jelly drops available now in the trays. The pots are coming out later this year.
Yeah.
And these will be available in packs of 1, or is it multiple packs?
It'll be a multiple pack, so they'll come in either berry or citrus flavours, so people can choose which flavours they prefer, and there'll be 21 pots per pack.
That's brilliant. So Lewis, thank you so much for coming in today and telling us your inspirational story and bringing this amazing item to us. Item J101, the jelly drops, 95% water. In this country, we have to encourage hydration because it's such an important issue. The fact is that UTIs are a huge issue for people in their own homes or in a care setting, and many people struggle to get the water intake they need. Jelly drops is an ideal solution that can be ordered through the item. And when you order, you can look at different levels. So very soon, the pots, the individual pots in packs of 21. You can look at purchasing a single individual pack. You can look at ordering 7 packs. And there's even a subscription service. All of those methods of ordering are on the item under J101. Now I'm going to have one more of these because they are super tasty and I love them. Thank you from the item.